Leather Rock here. That was Tabby Boy. Today we're going to do a 420 story time. It's been a while since my last one. I certainly have my stories. I'm sure you do too. This is a story about when I was 19 years old. I'd already graduated high school, and I was with one of my high school friends, and I decided to slip out of the house after my mom and dad had gone to bed, and because my friend had some pot, and we had a lot of different places that we liked to smoke out, but one of the places that we liked to smoke was behind a paint store up the street from where I lived. And there was behind the paint store was this little alley that went parallel to the main street, and we liked to duck out of the wind in kind of a doorway, and we would smoke out. And so we were getting high one evening, and all of a sudden, I guess we must have tripped a silent alarm we didn't know about, because all of a sudden a cop car pulled up, and we couldn't run because he was right there. And the first thing I'm thinking is, oh crap, my mom and dad are going to kill me. Okay. And so there was two cops, and one took each of us and tried to get each of us to snitch on the other. And there was no way I was going to say that it was his, or say that it was mine. I didn't say anything because you don't want to ever get your friend in trouble, right? And he didn't rat me out either. And at this point, I was pretty convinced that the cops were going to take us both away. And so I came up to one of the cops and I said, "Officer, if you're going to arrest me, could I at least close my door shut, because I kept it gaping open like 2 inches. Why I didn't just bring the keys, I don't know. Maybe because I thought that if I opened up the key with a lock, it would wake my mom and dad up." So at that point, the cop just said to both of us, "Get out of here and don't let us catch you back." And I'll tell you, we never smoked there ever again. Because, when you're a kid, you don't want problems with the police. So, yeah, beware of silent alarms, because you won't know that you're tripping it until all of a sudden you're busted. And one of the things the cop did is he found a little bit of weed that my friend had, and the cop made a motion of stepping on it and crushing it. They like to get melodramatic and stuff. So now this is a 2-for-1 here. I have another stoner story for you that goes back to Hollywood, California. And I was a bit older than 19. Well, I was in Hollywood and I was smoking weed on the corner of Cherokee and Hollywood Boulevard, if you're familiar with LA at all. So I'm smoking out, and I got caught by one of the guardian angels. And this had to be, let's see, there was an earthquake in 1994. It was just before 1994. Okay. And because the earthquake damaged a lot of buildings, including their clubhouse. Well, this particular time, a guardian angel caught me, and he got on the walkie-talkie. He made made a motion of stepping out and crushing my pot, and then of course he asked me if I had any more, and I lied and I said I didn't, because I sure didn't want him to take the rest that I had. I didn't have a lot, but I didn't want him to take it. So now, just so you know, I like Curtis Lewa. Not that I've met the man, but I mean, I approve of guardian angels in theory, but this particular branch of the guardian angels was nothing more than a glorified gang. This group of people, they pretty much targeted homeless people, punk rockers, gothic people, anybody that looked kind of like subculture. I guess that we were vulnerable and we were easy to be messed with. So, but some of my punk rocker friends got even with them, because when we had a big earthquake in 1994, they do this thing in Los Angeles, probably do it in a lot of cities, that if a building becomes uninhabitable, structural damage, they do what they call redlining. And when a building is redlined, it is deemed unsafe for human habitation, and what they do is they get you to move out, they pay you to move out, they relocate you, get you new housing. At one time, Hollywood had a surplus of housing, if you can imagine that. Now there is no such thing as a surplus of housing because environmentalists put roadblocks of every kind whenever they try to have new developing, whenever somebody proposes housing. Environmental groups make some kind of excuse for there's an endangered species there, there's a special rare plant there. It's so hard for them to make new housing, and when they do, it's usually for the upper middle class or richer people to afford it. So the housing that is there has to go around for the people that need it. And with all the people moving into the state, despite the fact that it's becoming less and less affordable. So, yeah, so how they got even with the Guardian Angels is the Guardian Angels had a clubhouse that happened to be redlined during the 1994 earthquake. So I had a lot of punk rocker friends. I guess they accepted me as one of them, even though I never really identified as punk rocker, but I suppose I have certain aesthetic elements that maybe seem a little punk rock. So anyway, a bunch of punk rockers broke into the Guardian Angels clubhouse, and they had, I guess, red beanies. They stole a bunch of beanies. They had a miniature billiards, pool table. They stole that, and now normally I would never condone breaking and entering. I wouldn't condone theft, but when it's revenge, then all bets are off. And considering that we were targeted and harassed, and they weren't going after people who maybe could be actually serious criminals, like they didn't target the gang members who I'm sure would probably be more dangerous to hassle, but they could hassle us. But yeah, my punk rock friends got even with them and got a bunch of their stuff. Nobody likes a bully. If you're going to be a gang, be a gang. If you're going to be for justice, be for justice. But don't say you're for justice and actually act like a gang, because that isn't right. The people will find out about it. So, those are two stoner stories from back in the day. If you like my content, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you want, you should subscribe. Love to have you join my family. I post 3 times a week. Until then, talk to you soon. Bye.